Well, as noted, this show certainly didn't lead you to think that they were going with Finn Balor. Raw from Knoxville. Not a very newsworthy show as compared to last week. Kind of a by-the-numbers show, including a segment of about half hour. It was just, felt like they were just stalling for time, but we'll get to that.
The women's segment?
I was thinking more along the lines of the Roman Reigns match. It was the Cruiserweight match that went 13 minutes, followed by the Elias match that between bell to bell and concert went about 25 minutes. And just putting those two together.
The only time in the show that, like, the Elias match with Roman Reigns, I thought was very slow, and it lacked the usual heat that a Roman Reigns match has. I didn't think it was, Elias, to his credit, from a poise standpoint, seemed to be just fine. Like, he was in control. It was okay. There wasn't any big miscues or anything like that. But it wasn't exciting either. The segment with the women just it just seemed like that went forever, to me.
Roman Reigns came out to open up the show. No Shield with him this week, and so got a lot of boos. Although there were cheers and there were chants of "you deserve it," so it was kind of a mixed reaction.
Well, Ambrose wasn't there because he's on his honeymoon, and Rollins is. I mean, they Rollins and him had a brief interlude later, and they made it very clear that the Shield is a unit, but that Roman Reigns is going to go be, obviously Roman Reigns got the Intercontinental. He's going to go after the WWE title. So he's got his own singles thing going on as opposed to doing like lots of six-man tags right now.
So they noted a photo of Roman with the Intercontinental title became the most liked photo in WWE history on Instagram. Over 500,000 likes.
What does that mean?
It means they were very proud of that and they think he's over.
How come their poll didn't say that? I mean, it's like, look, he gets the biggest reaction of anyone on the show most weeks now. Well, a second biggest. I mean, Strowman really gets the biggest, but I mean, it was interesting tonight because he got the mixed reaction. It was very girls cheering, but louder than the guys who were, like to be "Let's go Roman sucks" and all that. And the "Let's go," usually it's the guys just drowning out the girls or the kids or whatever it is. And this time it was pretty much the girls were louder. It's like the guys were half-hearted Roman sucks. It's kind of like they were almost defeated, those people. Like they knew they wanted to do it. They think it's their job to do it, but they weren't doing it. They were either not enough of them or they weren't doing it loud enough because it just was like really half-hearted chants.
So they showed footage of the Shield beating up Miz after Raw last week, and Roman says Miz is going to be gone a long time, but I'm going to be around with the Intercontinental title. Anybody wants a shot, they just have to step up and take it. They hid Miz's music, but out comes Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. They said, "We'd love to avenge the Miz, but we're both hurt, but we know someone who can." Out comes the Drifter, and he vowed to win the Intercontinental title, and Roman vowed to put him in a neck brace.
Yeah, so that was nice. That was the best they could come up with.
All day today, on social media, they were promoting Roman Reigns versus Jason Jordan.
Yeah,
and then they just didn't do it.
No, that was never the idea. It was always going to be Elias. They just did that as part of the storyline, I guess, of where they're going. I mean, it's real clear from this weekend that the Jason Jordan turn is happening real soon. I mean, it's pretty much already happened, realistically. So, just they haven't actually done the angle. So they're doing stuff with him. It's interesting right now because they're actually doing more with undercard guys than usual. Like Matt Hardy is very clear that they're gonna do whatever it is they can to resemble that character from before, which is going to be an interesting, that's going to be a lot up to legal, I guess, unless they made some deal with TNA, which I haven't heard, but, of what they can do and what they can't do. I mean, he was, acting, doing the delete thing, like loud. And I mean, like, the strongest that he's ever done since he's been there. And it's very clear that he's morphing into that character, which is going to be interesting because if he morphs into that character, they have to push him, but they've never really gotten behind Matt Hardy as a single. I mean, so you know, and right now they've got their guys who they're pushing.
There's a problem with your theory. They don't have to push him. I mean, for crying out loud, Finn Balor was going to face Brock Lesnar, and they didn't push him. So,
but the thing is, if he does do the character and they just treat him the same way, it's like why even bother?
I don't know, but the skeptical me thinks that's exactly what they're going to do.
Well, look, I can understand that because that's the track record. I mean, I don't sit here and go like it's not like I have faith in them doing stuff. I mean, I just see them. You know, it's like what's the Sami Zayn turn. It's like the Sami Zayn turn. It's like it freshened him up and everything like that. But they've immediately made it very, very clear that they don't see Sami Zayn as a top guy, no matter how good he performs. I mean, you couldn't ask for more than his heel promos. You really couldn't from him. But Vince McMahon obviously sees him at a certain level. And, you know, it's not even necessarily right or wrong. And now, you know, the other thing is now it doesn't really even matter anyway because it's a completely different business. You can do whatever you want. You know, it's a very resilient audience. I mean, you can go against them and they're going to still pay big money to come. No matter what you do, they'll complain, but they'll pay big money. So it's like Vince's, you know, and then they've got the backing of the television money and the network money and everything, you know, the network money, which is not going to decline. It's going to stay the same. It maybe go up slightly every year. The television money we know is going to go up every year until the next contract. And by all, you know, rights right now, you know, by all indications from the UFC, which is the UFC deal obviously is a, what's the word I'm looking for? The UFC deal is probably a good predictor of what's going to happen with WWE. And UFC's lowball offer from Fox, the one that they think is low, is $60 million up from what they're getting this year. So all indications are WWE is going up in its money in the next contract, not going down. So, you know what? Vince can do what Vince wants to do. There's no ramifications, repercussions of being stupid. I'm not saying he is, although, you know, and obviously in some cases he could do a lot better. And the Finn Balor thing is what it is. I mean, it's, you know, anyone who, I don't know. I mean, anyone who tries to defend the Finn Balor thing, I mean, there is no defense. You got a guy who you have on the books for a certain match at a certain time, and you think you can bury him, and then you decide because you buried him that he's not over, whether he is or he isn't. You know, I mean, it's just like, that's just bizarre. That's just bizarre. It really is.
We had Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. Noted that Ambrose was on his honeymoon. Sheamus is on a 1-week vacation. So they had a fun match. I thought the finish was great. Cesaro went for a springboard. Seth super kicked him out of midair, hit the Rainmaker knee, which still does not have a name. Got the pin. There were some cool spots. There was a gut wrench off the middle rope that Cesaro tried, but Rollins fought free, dove off, got caught, laid out with the backbreaker. I do have a nitpick about this match. That's my job. I don't watch a lot of sports, Dave.
I do.
In football.
Not as much as I'd like to, but I do.
Okay, in football, does a guy ever get the ball and start running? And he's gone 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, and suddenly they cut the commercial right there.
Oh, you're nitpicking because they're cutting. They've been doing that for 100 years.
I know, but I was like watching this match, and Seth is making this big comeback, and he hits his big tope, and the place is going crazy, and all of a sudden it's a commercial. I thought, why?
That's.
I know it's what they do. It just really hit me watching it. How stupid this was. How about during the 15 chin locks during that Drifter match? That's a great time for a commercial.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay, the way that they structure the tope is to set up the commercial.
You're right, and I always know when a commercial is coming because it's such a pattern.
Everyone knows the pattern's so obvious. Not only that, the announcers, the way the announcers do their voice, you always know. Like they change the inflection. It's like, oh, it's commercial time. And you know, even with Access, when you're watching the New Japan stuff, they always take, you know, because they take the breaks right after the biggest moves. I mean, it's like it's when the momentum's the highest. I mean, you know, yeah, I think it'd be better to just, in theory, take the break when the guys are doing the chin locks, and God knows when they take the breaks, the guys usually do go into chin locks in most cases. So you can tell when you watch the SmackDown picture-in-a-picture stuff, you can see not everyone, but more often than not, when that commercial's on, no one's doing much of anything. But the feeling is that you to get people to be interested during the commercial and not tune out is you do something really, really hot and then you go to a commercial. That's the theory behind it, is they've been doing it ever since they've been cutting away to commercials. Yes, in real sports, you don't cut away in the middle of a play. In soccer or whatever like that, football, the plays are so short, you can, with TV timeouts, you don't ever have to do it. You don't have 15-minute plays like you have 15-minute matches. And in, fights, you have the perfect thing because you've got the rounds, and that's when you take your commercial break, is between the rounds. So it's structured for that. I mean, like if you want to do it, you could do rounds in pro wrestling, you'd never have this trouble, or you could do matches that are 6 minutes or less all the time and never have this trouble. But if you're going to do 15-minute matches with no rounds, it's an inherent evil that you can't get away from.
I'm not saying no commercials. I'm just saying at a better time.
Well, they think that's the best time.
Well, I disagree. Seth did a promo.
That's their theory. I told you their theory. They want to.
I'm sure that's their theory, but people have remote controls, and there's other sports on. There's other things.
What does that have to do with anything? Then if you're doing it during a really boring period, they're more apt to tune away than during an exciting period. Honest
to God, when the guys are doing chin locks on my TV, I'm way more apt to turn away.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
But they leave the chin lock on TV. I watched a 4-minute chin lock in that Drifter match. Well, and meanwhile, they're cutting away in the middle of a guy's comeback.
Yeah, well, that's a completely different thing. They were.
That's no exaggeration, by the way. 4 minutes they were in a chin lock on television.
Like I said, as far as a Roman Reigns match goes, that was probably the weakest Roman Reigns match that I've seen in a long, long time. Not just because of the chin lock, just weakest crowd reactions. I don't think they really bought the Drifter at that level.
You don't say.
They didn't, This wasn't really that hot of a crowd anyway. I mean, other than they were kind of hot for Kane. And I will say, the one thing I got to say is, I was, during this afternoon, when I was thinking about this show, and I knew they were going to do a Kane Braun Strowman segment, that it was like, this is going to be tough because Kane's going to be babyface here. But when they had Kane beg, the minute they had him beg, I thought, that is so smart. And the people did not boo Braun Strowman one bit, and they did boo Kane. Even though when they came to the building, you saw all those chants for Mayor Kane and everything, he was definitely a big baby face when he was, which they knew. That's why they put him with frickin' Jason Jordan, because they want to turn Jason Jordan heel anyway. So Jason Jordan got booed. Balor and Kane was flat as hell, unfortunately. And then when Strowman came for the big save, they set Kane up because he was going to break frickin' Finn Balor's neck. So they were wanting a save. So when Braun came out, they did cheer him. And then when Kane begged off, that made sure they didn't boo him. They really structured that thing very well.
Seth did his goofy comedy. Ambrose being gone for a week, didn't know where he was, wondering if she should check on him.
They did acknowledge that he's married to Renee Young.
He hoped Renee didn't use her card to book the hotel room.
Yeah, I thought that was, not that it's any big deal, but, the general rule of thumb is that, have they ever acknowledged that before on I know they did on
they've done on the internet, but.
Yeah, on the internet and on, what's it called? It's the Smack, Talking Smack. Talking Smack they did, but it was like, it wasn't planned. Or, Kevin Owens brought it up, and then it just kind of came out. And I don't know if he did it just to bust their balls, or it was just they pretended that he did it to bust their balls because it's wrestling. I don't really know which what it actually was. But, they've never, on the body of a regular television show, they've never done anything like that. And, he outright, he didn't say Renee Young, but he did say Renee.
So he said if he can get a hold of him, he'll be back next week. And if Sheamus is back, they want their rematch for the tag titles.
Well, they already announced it for next week, so I guess that's happening.
Sheamus
is going to be back.
205 Live babyface is complaining to Kurt Angle about the Zoe train. Kurt had no idea what a Zoe train is. It's Enzo's heel crew. And he says, it's time to determine a new challenger for this Cruiserweight title. So we're going to have a fatal, I swear to God he says this, we're going to have a fatal four-way this week. Then we're going to have a fatal four-way next week. And the winners of the two fatal four-ways will have a match. And the winner gets the shot.
That's what they're doing.
They love their multi-person matches. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. So we got Swan, which means they may. So do you think they're going to put over a heel in the other match, or
That would be my guess.
Okay, so based on who's not there, we're probably going to have Nice and Gulak and Mustafa Ali, and who would be who's the guy I'm missing that they've got in that mix right now?
Maybe an extra babyface.
Yeah, well, no, it is an extra babyface. Who's the babyface I'm not thinking of? They've been okay. So I can't. Cedric Alexander, of course. So they could end up with Cedric Alexander against Rich Swann, which actually I think would be really interesting given some of the storylines they've been doing. If they go with one of the heels, it's Gulak, or it would be Nice against Swann. I think Cedric would be more interesting. I'd kind of book it that way. I'd go with Cedric winning next week and then Cedric against Swann and see how they play off of that.
Titus O'Neil, Samoa Joe. Short physical match. Joe choked him out. Not much to it. So Apollo Crews hits the ring. Total geek. Joe's had a fight. Crews hits the ring fresh as can be. Challenges him to a fight. Joe beats his ass. Chokes him out. Leaves him for dead.
Joe's the one getting a push. That's what you do. I thought Joe came off real well here.
He did. He's an awesome tough guy.
Yeah. I thought, so Joe and Titus on paper sounds like a horrible match. And it only went 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes. But for that 2 minutes, it was as good a Titus match as you'll ever see.
Yeah, they sat there and they wailed on each other. It was awesome.
Awesome is a little strong, but it was as good as a Titus match is going to be.
It was Titus's best match in history, maybe. I don't know if I
don't
go
know
that
in history, but his best match in a long time, yeah. That's the way to use him. Have him just go out there and only work with Samoa Joe.
Alexa come out to do commentary. Supposed to be a 6-woman tag, but Sasha came out. No Bailey, no Mickey. So out comes Paige, Mandy, and Sonya. Paige wants to know where Sasha's friends are. They show clips. Both are laid out backstage. Mickey holding her ankle. Bailey's holding her neck. Paige says, well, looks like it's a handicap match. But first off, I must explain my actions. Says a year ago she was the woman responsible for helping wipe the word diva from the WWE dictionary, the matriarch of the WWE evolution. And last week she made a statement.
That's what she said? Does she really talk like that?
Yep, she sure does.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? As far as delivering these lines, she does better than most.
Oh, she delivered them fine, but it's like, God, the matriarch of the women's revolution?
Evolution. They very specifically said evolution all week.
Oh, jeez. I mean, it's like, who talks like that?
So, Paige introduces her group. Absolution is their name. And then Mandy does a promo, says before there was a boss or 4 horsewomen, Empress, or anybody else, there was Paige. We didn't forget. Sonya says, every woman has pushed the competition, pushed the envelope, they've raised the game. Fans are giving her the what treatment.
Yeah, she didn't do well. That's where I thought that it really dragged. They talked too much at that point. When she was out there, it was like, enough of the talking. You're boring the crowd. Mandy Rose didn't do too badly. She's going to be a star. She's got, what now? How much of that tan is it's fake?
She's very orange.
Man, that woman was tanned. Like whatever. And which is even more noticeable when she's next to Paige, who's got no tan whatsoever, and then Sonya Deville. I don't know.
I know. She's totally not ready for this.
I haven't seen her enough in the ring. She's improved a great deal. Talking wise, I thought it was like very clear that the people gave her the what treatment as soon as she started. She had no chance. So it wasn't like she was out there and given a bad promo. They already decided we've heard enough talking when she started, so she was in just a bad situation. As far as her reacting to it and everything like that, yeah, it didn't feel like she was ready.
So Paige wants Sasha to pledge allegiance to them. She ends up knocking Paige off the apron, gets attacked by Mandy and Sonya. Sonya hits a kick. Mandy with the elevated sit-out pedigree. Paige hits a rampage. And she's left for dead. So maybe we'll get our mixed tag. I don't even know when. Maybe next week.
You mean the 6-man tag?
Yeah, 6-man. 6-person. 6-woman.
Yeah, I presume it's next Monday. You know, that's usually how they would work it. Yeah. So, and then they have to win. I mean, they better win.
I had a Bray Wyatt promo. Well, there's Bayley in the match, so fear not.
Yeah.
So Bray's
Mickey
doing...
James. Mickey James is lower on the totem pole than Bayley.
I don't know about that.
Oh, no. Mickey James never wins at house shows. Bayley gets pins at house shows.
Yeah, but this isn't a house show. It's TV, and Mickey James was in the title picture and was getting wins, and Bayley's losing every 6 ways from Sunday.
Bayley's been getting wins on TV.
Okay, I'll make you bet right now. I predict Bayley loses on Raw in the 6-person.
You may be right, but it easily could be Mickey James. They won't. I don't think they'll beat Sasha. They shouldn't beat Sasha. She's the most over of the 3.
So Bray's doing a promo complaining about how he never had a childhood, never celebrated holidays, never carved a turkey. He's getting the what treatment. Starts telling us we're all dead.
I do remember that. I like zone out during his interviews. It's like...
You miss nothing.
Yeah. No, I like his delivery. I just don't care what he says because it never makes any sense anyway.
So Matt Hardy shows up.
So they never had a Thanksgiving dinner, that family?
No. Dad's on the road. He's very busy being IRS.
Oh, man. I don't know about that one. He came home. I mean, he wasn't that. He's been out of the full-time business forever.
Well, you know, Bray moved out early, I guess.
17 years. When did he end his full-time career? 2000, 2001, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Matt Hardy came out. Thank God. They had a short match. Goes for his comeback. Misses a moonsault, and Bray, with great difficulty, does the bridge and then hits Sister Abigail for the pin. So Matt's laying in the corner. The fans start chanting his name. He starts doing the delete in the corner. Got a mild chant for a while, but then he tried to get him going even louder, and they died. That's kind of sad.
Yeah,
Knoxville.
It's early. It's early on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm really curious because obviously for legal reasons they haven't been doing this. They haven't gone in this direction, and you know, I wonder how they're gonna handle all this.
And if you're a viewer and you're an absolute idiot, Michael Cole was there to say, "Are we witnessing the beginning of a Matt Hardy breakdown?"
Well, that's what he's supposed to say.
I think it was pretty clear this was the beginning of a Matt Hardy breakdown.
But he's got to say something. That's
yeah. What's he doing? How about that? Why is he saying delete? What's going on with this guy?
You could do it that way too. That's true.
I don't like slapping the people in the face and pretending like they're complete idiots.
By telling him what's going to happen?
Yeah, by flat out telling you what's going to happen. Like
that's treating him like with respect. That's not treating him like idiots. Treating them like idiots would be saying like, "Oh my God, I have no idea," while they're sitting here going like, "We have an idea. You're treating us like an idiot."
No, if you said something like, "Something's clearly going on with Matt Hardy here," and you can figure it out for yourself.
You could say that too.
Instead of saying, "Boy, it seems like Matt Hardy's having a breakdown here in the corner. Clearly, he's going to become broken."
That's fine too. I don't got a problem with that.
I had Kurt meeting with Jason Jordan. He says it's too bad Braun got beat up by Kane because he was really looking forward to facing Braun tonight. Kurt says, "Really? What about your knee?" Jason says, "Well, people on Twitter are being mean to me, saying I'm faking this.
I bet.
I could prove them wrong by taking on the guy who took out Braun Strowman." Kurt says, "What, are you 100%? Jason says, "I'm good to go." So Kurt signs a match, and Jason smiles, but he's clearly not so sure. We had Daivari, Noam Dar, Tozawa, Rich Swann, Fatal 4-Way. All-action match. It's funny because, like, it was a pretty good match, but it was Knoxville, and they went 14 minutes.
It didn't matter what city it was. They've just killed that 205 division.
These fans were dead.
Yeah, but that's every week. That's every week. I haven't seen a cruiserweight match get over to a good degree in a long, long time. They had a match before the show even started, so you can't even blame it on being late in the show. They had a match. The second match on the show was Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher against Metalik and oh God, who's the other guy? I don't even remember. Maybe might have been whatever. It doesn't matter. I think it might have been Mustafa Ali. Hold on, I can actually look it up. But the point I'm making is the crowd was completely dead. For that match as well, and you can't say, well, it was late in the show or anything like that, or they'd seen too many stars, or it was during the body of Raw, and they know it doesn't count. It's cruiserweights in the middle of like a show, and they know it's the bathroom break match or whatever it is that people see that as. So yeah, it's just the whole thing. The partner was Kalisto, by the way. So anyway, yeah, it's just not. That's the deal. That they got to. And maybe they are. Maybe that's the next step. But the stigmatizing these guys as 205 Live cruiserweights when they've, it's not working. I mean, you can give all the reasons you want as to why it should work or why it's not working, but at the end, it's not working, and you got to figure out a way out of it, or you're just going to keep these guys are going to be in a position where the people just don't care. I mean, immediately they decide it doesn't matter when they're on, no matter what they do. And like you said, I mean, this four-way was really good, but it's not like, people just didn't care.
So they went 13 minutes and stacked up superplex dives, and finally...
By the way, I don't know what it is. I guess because they do it too often, but I am so sick of that Tower of Doom spot. I used to love it, and almost every time you see it, it gets over, so I understand why guys do it. But as soon as they said it looks... I mean, I know so much of pro wrestling looks fake and set up and everything like that, but it is so set up, and I just think that, like, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't say don't do it, because the reality is it's going to get over in 90% of the matches, and this was the 10% where it wouldn't, because it was, and it didn't get over because the spot was bad. It didn't get over because nothing in that match was going to get over no matter what they did. But whenever it was just like the way that thing, maybe it was so slow or something, but I'm watching this setup going like, God, this is just too slow of a setup and too fake, and I just didn't like it.
Swan hit the Phoenix Splash on Dar, got the pin. So we go from that 14-minute match to a 15-minute match, Roman Reigns Elias. Before the match even starts, Elias does his song. Cuts through the entire song after starting over once.
Oh, I liked freaking Curtis Axel. He was awesome.
Oh, they call out the Miz Taraj, and so we've got Bo. Both of them, actually. Bo and
they're both good.
The
but Curtis Axel was exceptionally good.
They're pretending to play the harmonica. It's obviously piped in.
I just thought it was so cool. I mean, it was like the first time that Curtis Axel in years did something like was really cool. Kind of reminded me of his dad when his dad was doing the West Texas Rednecks thing and they buried him anyway. So at least with these guys, it's like for guys that like are pretty much like, I don't know, like non-entities as far as booking goes, they give them a lot of TV time. Like, you could have just taken these guys off TV with Miz gone, but no, they put them all over TV. They keep these guys on TV.
Best part was the crowd sat through the performance patiently. They'd boo when it was over. Elias finally starts playing again. The fans start chanting, "We want Roman." And he says, "You don't want Roman, but I want him." So they have the match.
Well, when they said "We want Roman," it was like girls were chanting "We want Roman," and then guys were chanting "No, we don't."
So we have a 2-minute chin lock. Then he made a cover. Then we had another 2-minute chin lock. Then the Miz Taraj interfered. And then we had a commercial. Then we came back and there was another chin lock. And finally, there was a comeback by Roman. Drifter hit a flying elbow. Reigns hit the Superman punch, went for a spear, got hit with a knee, bounced off the ropes into another spear for the pin. Last few minutes of this match were pretty good. It probably did help the Drifter, but the first, at least half of this match,
2/3, 3/4.
I don't know about this quarter hour here.
Well, this quarter hour is probably fine because of Roman Reigns. It was just boring. That's all. I thought it was the weakest Roman Reigns match in a long, long time.
So Roman's going up the ramp afterwards, and Joe appears out of nowhere, puts him in the coquina clutch, and I presume this is a way of requesting a championship match for the Roman Reigns Open Challenge.
Yeah. I'm sure that's either going to be at the the pay-per-view's in 2 months. I don't think that they're going to be getting to it. So they may be doing that next week in L.A. Joe and Roman, if not setting it up an angle next week to do it, on a week or two later. But that's the obviously the direction that they're going is an Intercontinental match.
We had Asuka and Emma. They redid Asuka's music.
Not Emma, Dana, Brooke.
Dana claimed she watched their match over and over, discovered Asuka is a slow starter. She said, "Don't blink during this match." So the comedy is Asuka immediately submits her flying armbar, 4 seconds.
3 seconds.
And then Paige's music hits, Absolution comes out, it's around the ring, but then back off and Asuka leaves with a smile. "What's this all about?" the announcers asked.
Well, they're going to go somewhere with it. Cool.
We had Jason Jordan versus Kane.
By the way, that was for 3 seconds. That was very well done.
Yeah, she ran in, got flying armbarred.
Yeah, it was all, it was great. It was great. It was exactly what, it was better than I thought they were going to do. I thought that she'd beat her up for like a minute and submit her, but 3 seconds was even better.
I'd be terrified if I were Dana right now.
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that. She should throw her cell phone in the ocean or something right now. Would probably be a good idea.
Jordan versus Kane. Jordan cut a promo on Twitter afterwards, says he's not avoiding anybody. Last week he popped his knee slipping out of the Braun power slam. Knew he had to just get out of there, but thanks to rehab, the great crew at WWE is back at 100%. He's going to do what Braun Strowman couldn't do and shut down Kane. So Kane comes out, gets a big pop. Jordan runs wild early till Kane tosses him outside. Jordan sells the knee, acts like he can't get in by 10, gets counted out. So Kane starts to destroy him, works over his bad leg. Finn Balor's music hits. They have a match. Fans are chanting, "Let's go, Mayor." Finn makes a big comeback, crowd's just dead, and then Kane hits him with a chair for the DQ. So Kane is brutalizing him with his chair. Finally wraps it around his neck. Gonna kill the guy. When out comes the returning Braun Strowman, who had his neck destroyed, his larynx crushed last week.
But he's fine this week.
Comes out holding his neck.
He's got Wolverine recuperative powers.
It sure does. Kane hits Braun. Braun doesn't sell it, goes to work on him. Kane begs off, throws the steps in the ring, hits a chair shot, herks the guy up. Great difficulty. Gives him the easiest power slam ever on the steps. The fans have turned on Kane. They now chant "one more time," not his constituents. Braun takes a chair, puts it on Kane's neck, drives it into the steps. This time Kane does the choking gimmick. He gags, coughs, chokes, falls over the guardrail, chokes his way backstage. Fans are laughing as he passes by. That's the end of the show. What is this leading to? Like a dog collar match? What neck-related match could they have?
I don't know. I was wondering if this was going to be it for Kane. Like, this is the blow-off. It probably isn't, but... Because, Kane, once he gets serious running for mayor, I don't really think he's going to be
I don't think that's until the spring.
Yeah, but whenever it's going to be.
I know, but if he's leaving and they never really did the Braun match and he didn't put over Finn and this can't be the end.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Okay, I completely believe that. I believe it's not the end, but I would have not had Braun get so much revenge. I would have had Kane run away. It's like when it was over, it was kind of like, okay, what do I have left to see Braun Strowman do to him? He's already crushed his larynx. So do I care about a 1, 2, 3 count? Like whatever, right? Do I care about a last man standing match? What's there to, unless it's the loser gets hung match, it's like, where are you going with it?
Well, hopefully it's not a loser gets hung match.
Yeah, well, I know, because that'd be ridiculous, but I suppose you could do a dog collar match, but do you know how bad a dog collar match between those two would be? It'd be awful. Do
you know how bad any match between those two is probably going to be?
Well, judging from the slow motion fight that they had the other week, yeah, I think that you're right about that.